So I'm Kari Buffalo with the Apparel Mentor. I teach and train entrepreneurs how to take their ideas from idea stage into actually being ready to manufacture. And I'm here with Casey. Casey was one of our students in the Apparel Mentor, and I will let you, Casey, kind of describe a little bit about your project and what you work on in the Apparel Mentor.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because going to the apparel mentor was like the polar opposite of what I do for a living. Like I work in healthcare. I came up with an idea for a shirt that would protect medical professionals, but I came up with it like literally like 18 years ago when I like was first starting out.
Mhm.
And I had this idea for a while. And then finally, when my son was born, I was like, I'm going to make this shirt. And I started cold calling people, just like companies I Googled. And one of the first people I talked to was Alyssa, and she started like asking me questions. And I did not know. And these are basic questions like, do you have a vendor for your fabric? Do you have fabric swatches? Do you have your trims? Is your tech pack done? And I was like, Dur? Like I knew nothing about the apparel business, but she talked to me about my product, and I talked to her about like what my life looks like. Like I just had a baby. I'm on
Mhm.
maternity leave. I work in healthcare. I know two things about fashion, my jean size and I wear cotton shirts. Like that was the extent of it. And she said, "Well, we have a program for people like you that have an idea that are motivated about your idea and you want to bring this to light. Like, do you want to make this dream come true?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So she said, "Apply." And I got accepted. I got the syllabus. I started looking through it and I was like, "Oh, I think I might actually be able to do this. Like I think this may be a doable thing."
Awesome. So yeah, so you kind of mentioned this, but I just want to be clear. So your background has nothing to do with apparel. You're in healthcare.
Yeah,
And so
I'm an
your
OT.
product, yeah,
Yeah.
so your product was basically something you wanted to develop to help people in your field, in the
Yep.
healthcare field. And now you needed to take that and figure out, okay, how do I actually make this into, it's a shirt, right? How do I
Yep.
make this shirt that I'm dreaming of, envisioning, helping people? And that's, you know,
Yeah, and it was great because Alyssa, I'm so grateful she was one of the first people I talked to
mm,
because there was such an opportunity to take advantage. I mean, I knew nothing. I was just like spewing out my ideas and, I didn't have any of my patents yet. And she could have taken advantage of that and instead she said, "Hey, before you say anything else to anybody, why don't you
mm-hmm,
learn what you're doing?" And not in a rude way, but in a this sounds like a great idea. You're really passionate about it. There's a need. If you're serious, we are really serious about this. And it's true because some of the people in the class I'm still in touch with and they're like
right.
selling their products. Like you can go online and order it now. Like they had a dream. We were all these novice students. And now we're all like, hey, we're in the apparel industry now.
Yeah, that's so great. That's the best part is when you actually see things in real life and being able to be sold or, with their end user, so
Yeah.
that's great. So let's talk about the program a little bit. So when you got actually started
Oh my God,
in,
I'm so sorry, Maggie.
that's
Oh
okay.
my gosh, I hope you can edit this. The joys of working from home.
It's
Um,
okay.
but it
Um,
works because that's the apparel mentor. You do it
yeah,
at home
that's,
in real life, and you work
hmm
around real life obstacles like they're delivering mail.
yeah.
My dog is
Well,
guarding me.
and that actually kind of is a good point of like what we wanted to do with the apparel mentors. We understand that most people come to us having other jobs,
Yep.
not, this apparel thing is their kind of dream or something they're doing on the side and they have to do it on their own time. And so most people
Yeah.
are doing it, on their lunch break after work, wherever they can
Totally.
kind of fit it in so that, working from home and all that stuff makes sense because we know that this is kind of, not people's full-time thing. They're trying to work it
Yeah.
in.
And it's strategic because the classes for me in Mountain Time, it was 6 p.m. I still got to have dinner with my family. And I would go, the classes are at the same time, they start at the same time, it's the same
Hmm.
teacher. You have the entire syllabus laid out for you. And I ended up going and putting it into a spreadsheet with check boxes because I'm a nerd. But having that syllabus, that step by step,
Mm.
really allows you to say, okay, I can do my homework and my reading throughout the week because I know on this day I'm going to have class. And I would do the readings at sporadic times, like when my son was napping, was like an
Mhm.
ideal time after he went to bed, or if I got up early in the morning, I was having my coffee, I would just, jot down notes for you. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to ask Carrie this on Tuesday. If it was like a burning question, like, oh my gosh, I emailed a professional and they said a word and I don't know what that word means. And I looked it up and I still don't get it. Can someone help me? Boom, like I'd have an answer within an hour and I would be able to like just keep moving along.
Mhm.
So it was real time, but also like this really nice prepared time. Like I knew when class would be, I knew what we'd be covering, I knew what the homework assignment was, I knew when I had to do it. So it wasn't like as stressful as I thought it would be. Like I'm going back to school. Well, I know what to do. It's
Yeah.
like good hand holding.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's great. So that kind of is a little bit into the insight of how you worked the program, and then also just, just your interaction with it. You kind of just mentioned that you would do the lessons, here and there, get your homework. You were able to like get help. That's kind of the one big
Yeah.
thing I find people have. You're out in this world that you don't have the resources necessarily to understand what terminology people are using. Am I answering their question correctly? What does their question even mean? So that
Yeah.
interaction, hopefully, with myself and Carolyn and people in our program can help,
You
help you
guys are
guys
fabulous.
understand.
You're
Yeah.
really fabulous
Thank
because
you.
the world of apparel is kind of like the black market, the mafia. Like I didn't realize how there's a lot of ambiguity, but there's also it's like this is a tight-knit group. And unless you're
Hmm.
on the inside, like someone on the inside, it's really hard to navigate. So what was interesting was like I had you, I had Carolyn, I had Mindy, Alyssa, like
Hmm.
all of these people that had resources. Like the portal was everything. Like all the different resources you have in the portal. If there was something that I couldn't find, there could be an answer that said, "Oh, you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about. Go over lesson 10, read the resources." And I'm like, "Oh, I found it." So it helped you be like a self-directed learner. Like, hey, there's an issue, there's a question. Who do you
Hmm.
escalate to? Where do you go to find the information? Where it's really like just going through the course is like more real life training. Like now that I do this business, I feel like everything we practiced in class is something that I can apply now. Like practicing what you say to a vendor. How do you write this email to a vendor?
Yeah.
What are some things? Don't say this, go look it up, look up what their mission is. And it's really realistic to what you're going to be facing when you go out there. And again, healthcare, like to fashion, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. That's that's great. So I'm curious, you know, what, what was the one thing that you liked most about the apparel? Was it like the group, the resources? I mean, you kind of mentioned some things, but was there something that really just stood out to you as like you really liked?
I I mean, I really liked all of it, but I really loved coming to class. Like I
Okay.
really loved that community. And it was also
Uh,
during the pandemic. So we had people
yeah.
like all over the US. Like it
Hmm.
was insane. Like we had one member of the class that was like traveling to France at one point. So you're like there's the Eiffel Tower in the background while you're in class. And but
Hmm.
it I really love the community. And that sounds really corny, but when you're going through a new thing, anything that's
Uh-huh.
hard, and you have a group of people that are just like a bunch of little kindergartners with you, like learning the sounds of the letters and making them into words. It was like that watching all of us go from what's a tech pack? What is thread? Like you can use thread
Hmm.
differently to oh, I was meeting with this vendor and they sent me these swatches and just the way you're able to escalate um, to like the next level. It was interesting watching people become successful, pitching their ideas,
Yeah.
getting vendors.
Hmm. That I find is a surprising part of the program that people don't necessarily count on that they really like is that camaraderie between other people
Yeah,
doing the same thing. And that kind of that support. And also it's a different level of education when someone asks a question that maybe you haven't thought of yet, or the way they asked it in the response they get triggers something else for another
totally.
person to learn. And so I think it's just that that camaraderie, like you said, in that group, those group of entrepreneurs in the same boat is, I think, a lot of people is a benefit of the program that they are most surprised by, that they don't know that they
Yeah.
even need. Yeah.
It's a real community. And I stayed really close with Amanda. I was texting her today, telling her I
Uh,
was going to meet with you. She's like, "Oh, say
nice.
hi to her for me." She's doing great with her line. Like it's just like she's got a business now,
Yeah,
and
great.
it's so nice for me because I'm taking a different approach. Like I'm doing the licensing of my
Hmm.
garment to other companies. So she's been really great. Like before I had like some of my bigger meetings, I would call her and we'd practice. And she was
Mm.
really good because she's ahead of the process. She's got her like a brick and mortar type
Hmm.
thing going. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to ask you this. What's your response? What's your bottom line? What are your yeses? What are your nos?" And it's just so interesting to have started this program with, I don't know any of you and I don't know anything about this business to, hey, can we jump on a call? And can we like run through some
Hmm.
like lines for like how I'm going to pitch this? And I feel like
Hmm.
everybody got that. Everybody sort of like found their people there and they would branch off and they'd have like little side conversations, like about their
Yeah.
lives. It became a friendship. Like it became like it was like real college like atmosphere.
Yeah. Um, what was something that surprised you about the program?
I was surprised at how fast I learned.
Mm.
I really thought it was going to take a long time.
Okay.
Um, and I feel like within 6 months, maybe even a little bit less than that, I
Hmm.
mean, I had partnered with, Social. I had prototypes on the way. All my fabrics had been picked.
Great.
I learned how to order fabrics. I learned how to keep track of fabrics, how to have these conversations. And
Hmm.
there's just this like moment where you're sitting at your desk, like having a meeting, and you end the meeting. You're like, I just talked about something that 4 months ago I knew nothing about, and it goes fast. Like everyone in the class progressed week to week, like it was noticeable and everybody was
Hmm.
really motivated. So when somebody was doing something and they'd moved
Yeah.
ahead, it motivated me. And then I would do something and someone would be like, "Oh my gosh, you motivated me to do the next step." And we really did. We kept each other accountable and kept going.
That's
It was
awesome.
wonderful.
So, yeah, you kind of mentioned timeline there. So I'm curious, what do you think people kind of would expect as far as their project timeline from when they first jump in to when they actually start to feel like, they're making some progress, they're almost at the end of the
I feel
development.
like it's pretty immediate. I'd say
Okay.
by like lesson 3 or 4, within the first
Mm.
month, I was like,
Okay.
"Oh, this is doable. I can see now
Hmm.
all the steps that I need to do." And because the lessons are set up in like a chronological order to how you do
Hmm.
it in real life, you're
Yeah,
almost like practicing the job. And I was kind of conservative. Like I wanted to keep going. So I like repeated the lessons a couple times because I
sure.
was like, I really need to know this. And it was
Hmm.
so affordable. It was like the best investment I've ever made in my life. And it went quickly. I mean, I spent
Awesome.
17 years sitting on this idea before I approached you. And then like within 6 months, it was like, oh, maybe I should have done this sooner. That
Yeah.
would be my,
Oh,
just do it. If you have an idea, you will learn in the program how to make it work if you're going to go full time into it. Like, nope, I'm quitting my job and this is all I'm doing.
mhm.
You can have an idea and you can have it in the works within a couple months. You can do it part time, you can do it less than part time. Like everybody's schedule can fit into the program. It's like they
Mhm.
thought about all of that.
Awesome. Well, that is awesome. So now that you are a graduate,
Yeah.
where tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your project now that you've finished our program and where you're taking the next steps.
Yeah, so I have all my prototypes are done. They're all sized. I have my tech pack finished. My tech pack has even got some patents and legal jargon in it, so it's like
Yay.
really official. And
Hmm.
right now, I'm taking meetings with like big companies that like Body Armor, Halyard, Bite Pro. Just all of these different people that are like, "Hey,
So exciting.
this is a really good idea. Fun and Function, which is like one of, working in pediatrics, that was my go-to
Yeah.
company to buy things for my clients and for my staff. Now I'm like, "Hey, I've been a long time customer. Do you want my product?" And they're like, "This is really great. Let's have a meeting." So it's just
Mhm.
interesting to go from a year ago being nowhere to like people are like, "Hey, let's get this on our website. Like, let's get this manufactured. Let's get this going."
Mhm.
It makes me feel so proud of the work I've done and that I was able to do it and my life didn't like go into crisis. Like I had a newborn. I mean, I can't think of like showering with a newborn. I mean, I went back to school and did all of this. It was so
Mhm.
manageable because what you learn is really condensed, concise, and it's like, nope, this is
Mhm.
what you have to do. And if you show up and you listen and you learn, you're going to be successful. It's almost like a guarantee. You do these steps and you get this. Like you plant a seed, you put water on it, it becomes a plant. Like it's that straightforward.
Awesome. Well, that is so exciting. I'm so happy for you and that you've got these great meetings on the books and people really interested in making your product because it is a really great, unique idea. So
Thank
it's
you.
good to see it coming to life. I've
Yeah.
never, I've never seen anything quite like it, and I'm not really, I'm not in the medical space, but I've done a
Mhm.
lot of medical things, and this was something that was truly unique to anything I've seen. So
Oh,
that's
thank you
great.
so much. We're
Yeah,
beta testing with a little girl up in Seattle right now, and
great.
her mom just texted me the other day and says she loves her shirt and
Oh,
it's keeping her so safe and so protected. And I cried when I got that text because I was like,
yeah.
I have been dreaming about this since I was like 22 years old. And now,
Oh.
I've aged myself, but like here in my 40s now. And I'm like, wow, I had this dream. I watched
Hmm.
so many families struggle and I get emotional just thinking about it. Now the struggle is going to end. It's going to stop. There's a solution now. And I have this one mom just saying everything to me that I've wanted to hear as a practitioner. Thank you for helping my child. I am going to cry. I don't want to cry in your interview.
It's no, it's making me teary. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
one of the most wonderful success stories is like you have this product that's actually making a difference and helping people,
Yeah.
and to get it out of your mind and into a real place where people
Yeah.
can use it is
Yeah.
amazing.
I
Mhm.
know. It's just the most phenomenal thing. And everybody has a dream. And it doesn't just have to be like an imaginary dream that you have in your mind always. If you have a
Mhm.
dream of designing something and you love beautiful clothes and you love how clothes make you feel, I loved
Mhm.
how clothes made me feel in a different way than fashion. I worked in healthcare. I wanted things that were safe and comfortable and I could move
Mhm.
because my life was dedicated to helping other people. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that the fashion and apparel, there's no bounds. You don't have to be like this person that loves fashion and is really
Right.
stylish. You could be
Mhm.
someone that wants to make clothes for plus size women or
Mhm.
underwear for people that have incontinence issues, things that are
Yeah.
going to have profound impact.
Mhm.
It's just amazing that something exists that's totally affordable, totally doable. Like I will be your spokesperson for the rest of my life. I
We'll
really
take
will.
it.
It was life changing.
Oh.
It put me on a trajectory that I'd wanted to be on for 2 decades and wasn't able to figure it out. And then within 6 months, it's like I got this figured out. Like I'm
Mhm.
going for it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's the goal. And so I'm so glad it was achievable for you.
Thank you. Thank you for teaching me.
Absolutely.